Search engine optimization. So this is a subject that I think is overlooked a lot these days. There's so many social media courses around, training courses. Everyone's talking about social media, and that's the way forward. You might not have to have your own website in the future because you'll have a Facebook page and a Twitter profile. Search engine optimization, I still find we can get a lot of quick wins with companies in terms of getting more traffic. So this is about tweaking your website so that when somebody searches for what you want to be found for, it appears higher up on Google. So just a few basic tips with that. Whenever we work on search engine optimization, we always do keyword research first of all, which is finding out what people search for the most on the internet. You may think that they search for what you sell, but it's not. People to search differently. Does anyone got a guest house? Okay, so with guest house, you probably also may consider yourself bed and breakfast. Yeah, I say that cautiously because somebody yesterday said, no, I'm definitely a guest house, not a bed and breakfast. People search for bed and breakfast 4 times as many times as they search for a guest house. So although you're called a guest house, you would need to be talking a lot about the fact you offer bed and breakfast on your website because you're opening yourself up to 4 times the amount of traffic by focusing on a phrase people search for. Little simple things like attractions or things to do. If people are searching, do they search for things to do North Wales or attractions North Wales? And if you don't know, then you don't know what order and priority to give to those on your site. And it's actually, people search for things to do North Wales more than attractions. You may consider yourself a visitor attraction, but actually, people look at you as a thing to do. So it's finding out what your customers look at. This is a free tool from Google. There's a long web address there. Don't bother writing it down. If you just search for Google keyword tool, it'll come up in the results, and then you can have a look at it. What I've done is I've gone on there and pulled a few off just for reference. So these are different phrases, like North Wales holiday, Snowdonia holiday. If you consider yourself to be in both areas, which one would you focus on? So you go through all the things that are relevant to your business, all the different pages that are relevant on your website. And what we try and do is come up with an 8-word phrase for each page. This is sort of the trade secrets, if you like, of how we do it. We come up with an 8-word phrase in order of priority. Now, another thing you can do, once you've come up with those 8 words, you see, for example, you've got Farm Holiday Wales, which has got 880. And you might think, well, that's not very good because there's only 880 people per month that search for that phrase. But the slightly more advanced step is to go to Google, and if you search for those phrases with quote marks around them, what that will do is then bring you up the number of websites that are out there with that particular phrase in. So then you can get a feeling for the competition for the different phrases. So you might find a phrase, maybe, and I haven't checked this one, Farm Holiday Wales, that you think there's not many customers, but then there's very few websites targeting, or proportionally less websites targeting that phrase. So you can pick phrases that you've got a good chance of getting to the top 4. Does that make some sense, hopefully? Yeah, and you can see there, guest house. There's similar searches for like campsite, camping site. I was with somebody the other day, we're a touring park. And that's what it said all over the website, we're a touring park. It's barely searched for. People look for caravan site or campsite. You know, so if you just then talk on your website, if you do nothing else on the next thing I'm going to show you, but just rewrite your text to talk about what you do from your customer's perspective, then that will improve how you rank in the search engines. What I would like to do, if there's a willing volunteer, is to just pull up somebody's website and then just show you the various points that we would tweak. Okay, so if I was looking at this, the first thing I would do is this. You see at the top right there, you've got the title. So this is the title tag. It's also when you do a search on the internet, that's the thing that comes up in the results, is your title tag. That is one place, which is quite an important place, to get your 8-word phrase in. So if you're looking for accommodation, cheap accommodation, budget accommodation, hostel, North Wales, for example, with a few other words, then that's what you would expect to see at the top there. So in terms of improving that, there's not a lot you can do, but maybe you might want to put the word cheap in there. Maybe you want to get the word accommodation to the beginning of the sentence, which makes it more important. The thing that's at the beginning has got the priority. And what a lot of people do is they'll put their business name at the beginning of the title tag, which means you're perfectly optimizing your website, that page, for the name of your business. So if anything, I tend to lose the name of the business altogether, because I reckon there's about 8 words to get in there that are valuable to me from a search engine point of view. So I often don't put the business name in the title at all. Then I'd also want to see it in what we call the heading text. So this is the heading text here. Should be heading text anyway. It's not just, it's a heading, it's actually a certain format of code that turns it into like H1, H2 format. Another place where search engine list are. So I would say that's another place where your 8-word phrase or some parts, the first parts of your 8-word phrase would go there. The first sentence then, I would expand my 8-word phrase into a fluffy sentence that describes what I do. But because I'm doing that, I'm getting the order correct in terms of order of priority of what I want to be found for. Other places, there's 2 hidden places called the description and keywords, which some of you may have heard of, meta keywords. The keywords are just a comma-separated list. Search engines practically ignore them altogether. So don't even worry too much about meta keywords. And anyone tells you that they're going to help your website by stuffing lots of keywords in there, they don't know what they're talking about. The search engines haven't looked at them for a long time. And the description is another hidden tag, say 20, 25 words, which just describes your page. And again, I'd take my 8-word phrase and expand it with a few of the words that didn't make my top 8. And then throughout the text, so if I was looking at this now, and I wanted to be found for accommodation, I would be looking through this text and seeing how many times does the word accommodation appear in there, in that actual body text. And I would say, because you're going to ignore the heading, because that's a different section from a search engine, accommodation appears in there once. So from a search engine, if I was looking at the body text, I'd say this page isn't very much about accommodation. So there's no optimum amount, but I would be saying at least 4 or 5 times you should be saying the word accommodation in there. It's always a balance between making it sound okay and read correctly and getting found in the search engines. When you hover a mouse over an image, it might not work on here today. Yeah. So that's another place where you can get your keywords in there on your what we call your alt tags. Headings, body text, covered everything on there. In the hyperlinks, if you've got like a tariffs page or availability page, don't just put a link saying availability. Change it and have your keywords within that actual name. In your web address, if you haven't got like accommodation in your web address, which you haven't, then you could always have / accommodation as one of your pages, or / cheap accommodation. So you're using a different way to actually get the web address in those keywords in your actual web address. Don't worry too much about domain names, about keywords in the domain names. The importance of that is decreasing rapidly at the moment. So don't go and buy snowdonia-hostel-cheap-accommodation.com. A, because I've already got it, and B, no. Because you actually won't do very well at all. But I see a lot of people doing those. I think you need to have a mix between your business name and also the thing that you're selling. So when people come and look and find you again, they recognize that it was your business, and it's not just another keyword-based web address. So if you're going to go away from today and do just a few things, first thing, choose the right phrases. Do that keyword research. You may find it enlightening. Customize every page so it can be found for different phrases. Make sure every page is customized. Don't just work on the home page. Change the text links. Talk more about what you do. Another factor is getting quality links coming into your site. I'm not on about getting lots of directories linking to you, but maybe exchanging links with relevant businesses, organizations in the area. Okay? So it could be if you're at accommodation, you exchange links with attractions. It really is worth, even if you're just getting 2 a month, more links, to just have a little bit of your time that's dedicated to doing that, because it will make a difference. A common question I get asked is people say to me, I don't know how to get more links, I don't know who to contact, I've run out of ideas. Link Popularity there is a website which will tell you who links to you. It'll give you 3 sets of results. It's actually only Bing in the middle that works at the moment. So that will give you a base start point to see how many links you've got. Next thing you can do is search for, I don't know, cheap accommodation, North Wales, or whatever you want to get found for. And then you'll see that the top 10 businesses maybe that are similar to yours, you can then actually run them through Link Popularity and see who's linking to them. So you're seeing what your competitors who are doing better than you on Google and see what they're doing. And it will give you, even if it's a business in Yorkshire, you'll get ideas of the sorts of business, Ramblers Associations or whatever, different types of businesses that you may be able to exchange links with.